Hey, Beautiful Life Lab. I wanted to record a tutorial for you today. It's an updated one because last year I recorded for you a video on how to use MailChimp for your email marketing. Now, since that recording, probably about 6 months ago, I moved over to a new email platform called Flodesk, and I'm super loving it. I know quite a few of you in the lab have played around with it a little bit because you can test it out through a trial. So what I thought would be helpful for you was if I took you into the back end of my own Flodesk to show you just around the various options you have available to you, obviously sending emails, but what you may be more interested in because you're part of the lab and you're all about systems and integrations that make your life easier, I want to show you how to use workflows. So I use workflows in a number of ways throughout my business, throughout my brand. I have many different extensions to my business. So I leverage workflows to welcome new customers to various programs that I have. Another way I use them is to guide our essential oil community through their first 3 months using their oils. So I want to take you into the back end right now, show you around. If you do want to activate a trial for 30 days with Flodesk, I'll pop the link below this video for you. And then through that link, you can also lock it in for $19 a month forever, because right now it's still in beta. Now this is a remarkable savings, especially if you're coming over from some of the more archaic, if you will, email platforms such as MailChimp, where I was paying over $300 a month. So not only big savings, but Flodesk actually makes it super fun to create emails. Logan, my dog, says hi, but let's jump into the tutorial. Okay, so we are in my Flodesk. What I'm going to do in this tutorial is take you through the 4 headings at the top and what they mean. When you come into Flodesk, it'll often, once you're in and using it, it will come to the email section where you would find all of the emails you've sent out, and you'll find them categorized by sent, drafts, scheduled. And I'll show you that once I get into it. But so I think where I'm going to start is in emails, since that's obviously the reason for Flodesk. And then I'm going to show you how you build out workflows as a way to automate your life. Okay, I know that's what you're likely most interested in when it comes to this video. But let's start with emails. So when you first open up your Flodesk account, and again, you can play around with it for 30 days. So I'd encourage you to grab that trial through the link and just play around with it for 30 days. This is actually a really good time to be working on things like this that are going to pay you back time down the road. So when you first get your Flodesk account, you're going to want to create a template for your emails, something that really fits your brand and is something that you could very easily save as a template and use going forward because it captures all of the content you want to have. Now, if you just have one primary reason for using email marketing, maybe you, let's say you're in doTERRA and you build a doTERRA business and you want to be able to do email marketing around essential oils. If that's all you're planning to use it for, then you could very easily create a template, something that you're going to use every time you send out an email. But let's say you might be like me and you have a brand where you have different elements to your business. So for me, I have the Whole Fit brand. I have products and programs that I sell through that. Then I have doTERRA, which is a big part of my business as well. So I have a few different templates that I use for various reasons. And I think what I'll do right now is I'll show you a few examples of emails I've created, and then I'll show you how you actually create an email, okay? So if you look, and this will probably all make sense once you've seen this whole tutorial, so maybe you want to come back and watch this from the beginning, because once I explain how you segment your customers, then it'll make sense to you why I'm showing you here a lot of different emails. So for example, this morning I sent out an email to my warm market, which are people who are interested in purchasing doTERRA but haven't yet, okay? So you can see here I sent it to 128 people. Now, once you send an email, you can go up and you can click these three dots. That will allow you to duplicate it, to view it in the browser, to share it. Like maybe you send out an email and then you want to share the email you sent on Facebook. You can even resend to people who haven't opened it. That's a really helpful function that you'd want to maybe do a couple of days after you send the email out. It'll send it only to those that didn't open it. So that's pretty cool. But let's right now just take a quick look at this email. So if I view it in browser, it's going to pull it up for me here. Now, what I could do is I could just copy and paste the URL at the top here and then post that over to Facebook. Or let's say you have the swipe up function on Instagram, you could copy and paste this link into a story for people to swipe up and they could read the email if you'd like to do that. But here's an example of an email I just sent out this morning. So little intro message, some marketing images, and then various things I have in the footer. So what you'll notice right away about Flodesk is it's really pretty, right? It's clean. There's a lot of great customization options. And I'll show you an example of creating an email in just a moment, but I wanted you to kind of see the email once it's actually done. And so let me go back. I'll show you a different example. So this is one I sent out last week after, and this went out to a segment for people who have subscribed to receive updates when I do live essential oil classes. So here we have over 2,200 in this segment, right? Versus the 128 that I have in a segment that are warm customers. Here we see one I sent out to my WholeFit brand, which has a little over 11,000 subscribers. So let me just open up another example to show you what's possible. So I'm going to view in browser. So this again went out to people subscribed to my classroom segment. So I linked up for them the recording. And again, all of this I can build through Flodesk. You can see it's really clean and interactive, bright. That's the whole goal of my marketing, is I want the emails to feel just fun, like it's something you want to receive in your inbox, not just a paragraph of text. Okay, so let me, and one thing I want to mention, I'm going to show you how to create an email. But when you see these images that are flashing, those are GIFs or GIFs or whatever it's called. You can go to a website called Giphy or Jiffy, however you say it, GIPHY.com, and you can save your favorites, and all you do is you insert them as an image. So I love including them because they just, they make emails pop. So let's say we're going to create a new email. You would go up here to the top, you'd hit create new. Now, what I want to point out here is Flodesk has a bunch of templates that you can choose from that are already done and are really modern and clean. You can see there's been some contributors to these templates like Jenna Kutcher. She has a bunch on here. So when you're first starting out, you can choose one of these templates to customize and then save. And I'll show you, let me just go back one second to show you how you, like, let's say, well, actually I can't do it through one I've already sent. I want to show you how to save an email, but let's go to create new and I'll show you. So because I've already created templates and saved them, they're stored here in my favorites. And again, when you're first starting out, you might want to choose one of these and customize it and make it your favorite. So let me show you, when I click on my favorites, this now brings up templates. So that email that I just showed you that I sent this morning, I actually saved it to be my new working template for my warm market customers. So let's say I wanted to send them an email right now. And I tend to send emails to my warm market, for example, at the beginning and then usually like week 3 of a month. So let's say it's the 3rd week of June and I want to take this and customize it because I saved this as a template as I was creating it this morning. So I might just make it less wordy because it's more of a check-in email. So I might delete some of these images, just do a quick text blurb up here. And we can play around with this one since I'm actually showing you how to construct. So let's say I wanted to just delete some graphics out of here and some text. And I might come up here and just write, something like, Hey, I just wanted to check in with a little, oh, I can't spell, with a little blurb here. I'd probably erase these footer sections because they've already received this at the beginning of the month. So I'm just wanting to, keep it cleaner. But while we're in here, and then what I would do is once I have it looking the way that I want, then let's say this was ready to send, just a nice short message. Then I would go up here to next. It would actually pull your information of who you're sending it from. And you could write a subject line here. And then you would tell Flodesk who you want it to send it to. So once I get to the segment section, which is a way to organize your subscribers, this will make more sense. But right now, if I was going to send this and I wanted to send it just to my warm market, I'd click add segments and it's going to bring up all the segments that I currently have. And I think I have about 20 different categories within my email subscribers. So I would go down until I find what I called interest in doTERRA or warm market, and I'd click include, add, and then I'd hit continue and send. But we're not going to do that right now. Let me just come back into the email. I'll show you just how you use some of the functions. It's actually really easy. Like I said, you'll want to create an email, save it as a template so you can just do easy customizing. But let's say I didn't want to use this picture. I could hit the plus sign and I could upload a different image, which would be what you just saw, just a square image. But one function that I like to use quite a bit are layouts. So when you click on layout, it'll bring up in the sidebar here lots of different prefabbed layouts that you can choose from and customize. So there's some ones that are pretty cool. Like here, for example, I could add this layout. I could add a screenshot, an image there. I can customize the text here to say whatever. I can customize the text here. You can customize everything, the color of the shaded box. If you decided you didn't like this layout and you wanted to try a different one using that image, you could click it. It would pull up all the different layouts. You could choose a different one, okay? And you can see it just automatically prefabs everything you need so you can find one that you really like, okay? So that I love using layouts. Everything else is pretty standard. When you just click this plus symbol to add something. So you can see here layouts, which I just showed you. Images are just straight up images. And by the way, when you're using images, you can choose, you can go over here to block and you can choose how many, like let's say you wanted to show a row of 4 images. You could do that. You can change the amount of spacing in between them, whatever you want to do. So everything's really customizable. You can also add in videos straight from YouTube or Vimeo. So you would just type in the link here. It would auto-populate the video. And when your customer receives the email, they could just click the play button and it would take them right to the video link. What else? You can create spacers in between things. You can add, it'll pull your Instagram photos, right? If you want to show a block of your most recent posts on Instagram, you can do that. So anyway, that's how you build an email. Now, once you've created an email that is your basic template you want to use, you'd go over here and you'd click Save to Favorites. And then in the future, when you click Create New Email, you could choose then from the favorites that you have. If you only have one, then it would show that one. One other function I'll show you here too is this airplane symbol. I recommend whenever you're sending an email, send a test to yourself first so you can test the links, make sure it's showing properly. Usually the email will show exactly how it's showing while you're in Flodesk, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can get a little bit glitchy with spacing of text and stuff. So always recommend you send a test. I think that's all I wanted to show you. And you can click these icons up here to rotate between how it would look on a phone. This is kind of helpful since most people tend to check anything these days from their phone versus a desktop. You can change the way links populate, the color that they show here. You can change everything, the font, the size, everything. Okay, so those are emails. Let's go back to the main screen. And like I said, once you have started creating emails, up at the top here, you can You can go through and find scheduled emails. So for example, I'm running a detox program right now. So I've already created these emails to go out every day. That's running this week. So I could see those nice and easy. If I had to edit them, I could do that and reschedule them. I can see emails that I've sent. Okay. The only thing I wish they had that isn't in place yet are folders to organize them. So you can see here I've sent over 100 emails. I could search by keywords. Like let's say I wanted to find all emails that I've sent about the classroom. It would pull these up pretty quick. But I wish they had folders so I could just put them all in folders, and that way I could navigate them quicker. I think that's coming though, because I remember at the time of this recording, Flodesk is still in beta. Okay, so now let's go over to, let me just see. Yeah, I covered everything I wanted to there. Let's go to audience. So when you hover over the audience menu, it'll ask you if you want to look at total subscribers or segments. So total subscribers is everybody that's in all of your segments totaled up. If we go over to segments, this is what I really want to show you. So everybody would be showing in your total subscriber list. But segments, so here you can see all subscribers and then segments. Segments are how you categorize people who subscribe. And segments are important when it comes to building out workflows, because the trigger for someone to receive automated emails from you through a workflow is they are added to a specific segment. So the other thing you'll want to do when you first get into Flodesk is you're going to want to create all of the segments you think you'll need. So let me show you the various ones I have. And you do that just by clicking add segment. You'd create a name, and that's how you store subscribers. So for example, I'll just pull out some things here. So programs that I run through my WholeFit brand. I have an ebook called the Supernatural Guide. When somebody purchases that ebook from my Squarespace shop, which is the website WholeFit's hosted on, they are added automatically to a segment called Supernatural Purchased. When that happens, they automatically receive a welcome email that links for them the ebook and is a little welcome message. So I'll show you that when we get into workflows, but I have that for my detox, for the Beautiful Life Lab, for my green cleaning ebook, for Life Scrub. Some other ways that I use it, let's see here. So here's that classroom segment. So this is, let me actually open up a new page. I'll just show you how someone gets added to that classroom segment. So on my website, this is wholefit.com/classroom. This is where I have all my information if somebody wants to watch a recording or attend my next live stream of an essential oil wellness class. Now, the way that they're added to the classroom segment is they click here to download their class notes package. And I have it in a couple of different spots, but I'll just, actually, let me scroll down and show you. So this is a form, this little blurb right here that says class notes package. This is a form that I created in Flodesk, which I'll show you when we get to the forms. But let's click here. So what this does, when I clicked download your class notes package, this opened up a different kind of form that I made through Flodesk. That is like a landing page form. So here, a customer could enter their info, blah, 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 and click class notes, and then automatically they would receive the class notes package, because when they fill in this info, they are added to the classroom segment, which triggers the workflow to send them a class notes package. And the other beautiful thing about that is now they're part of the classroom segment, which means when I have the next live class coming up, I can send an email just to that segment, because I know not all of my subscribers care about that, but this group does, because they subscribed for the classroom notes. So they want to know when classes are coming up. Now, of course, they could unsubscribe at any time. One thing I want to mention while talking about unsubscribes is one disadvantage right now within Flodesk is if a customer unsubscribes from one email, like let's say somebody didn't want to receive the classroom emails anymore, but they're also subscribed to my brand, and maybe they're in the Beautiful Life Lab. If they unsubscribe to one email, it unsubscribes them from all of the segments, which is unfortunate. And they actually have to resubscribe by filling in a form again. I can't just add them back in. So that's one not so great thing right now. But that's a bit of an unusual thing. I think for most of you that will be starting up with this, you won't have lots of different extensions to your business. You might find you're just using it for a couple of areas. Let's see what else. These aren't really organized in any way, so I'm just trying to find something different. So I have, like within my doTERRA business, for example, I have my personally enrolled wellness advocates in a segment. I also have a segment for my personally enrolled customers, okay? Because I might send them different messages. Like if we have like a wellness advocate training program coming up, then I could send that just to my personal customers that are wellness advocates. Let's see. The second page here, and then there's my brand list. So one thing I'll share with you also, because I'm going to show you this when we get to forms. So if you go to wholefit.com/insider, this is my brand list. Okay. So, and rarely will someone just give you their email anymore, right? You guys have probably been on the receiving end of this. You've gone to a website. You wanted to receive a free PDF, some sort of download, a gift that's being offered, and you enter your info in your email to receive it. So that's something you'll want to think about if you are looking to have a lead generator for your subscription list. You're going to want to think of an ebook or some helpful tool or resource, something that you can create simply as a freemium for people to sign up for your email list. So this is mine. They receive my guide of tools for health and productivity. So this is in various locations on my website. This was a form that I created in Flodesk, and I'm going to show you forms next. But again, this is similar to the one I just showed you, where by filling in this form, this would automatically add them to my brand list, which triggers the workflow to send them my ebook that I've said they're going to receive. So that puts them on my brand list. So I might send an email out to my brand list once or twice a month. So let's go on now to forms, because I've showed you that a few times. This one will be a little bit quicker because I want to spend about 10 minutes showing you workflows. So in forms, you can create pop-ups. So forms that, if somebody's on a certain page of your website, it would pop up. You can create inline forms, which are embedded in certain sections. So I showed you that let me just think where I showed you that. No, I didn't show you that. But let's say you wrote a blog post and you wanted to have a little box embedded within your blog post. You could create an inline form here, and it would basically give you a code that you copy and paste into your blog post. But what I tend to use more of, as you can see here, are full page forms. So that's what I just showed you on the insider page. That was a full page form. So it's not embedded in anything, it's its own page. So let me show you examples. Let's see. So here's that class notes package one I showed you, where it's its own page. I have them for various programs. So like my Beautiful Life Lab, I have this linked. I created this page and then I have it linked within the ebook, so they receive that. So I'll just show you really quick how you create a form. Click create new. It's going to ask you what type of form do you want to create. Do you want a pop-up? Do you want just an inline ribbon banner? So this is, for example, what I have on the bottom of every page. It's a footer. See here? On my website. Doesn't matter what page someone's on. This is a static footer. So this would also, when they fill this in, because I have this form linked to my brand list, they could fill this in. It would add them to the brand segment. And then that again triggers the workflow to receive my free guide. I hope this is making sense. So that's where I would have done that there. So if I wanted to just show you this as an example, right when you click that this is the type of form you want to create, it's going to ask you, what segment do you want this form linked to? Okay. So you kind of build all of this out in tandem before you launch. So if I didn't have my workflow built yet for this, that's okay. I could just say I want to create this inline, and I can now customize it. I can write whatever I want here. And then once I'm done, and you can customize the fields. If you don't want last name, you can change that there. The message they receive after they subscribe, you can customize a little bit here. They give you like 5 or 6 templates. Then once you're done and you're ready to get the code, it'll ask you if you want your customer to have double opt-ins. Do you want to be notified every time you get a subscriber? I mean, you might want to do that in the beginning. You might, have a little cheer party every time you get a subscriber. And then what do you want to do? It'll ask you, what do you want to have happen when a customer subscribes? Do you want a display message shown, or do you want to redirect them to a different website? So you can choose whatever you want there. And then here's the code. So for this, I mean, if you aren't running your own website, then this might look overwhelming to you if you're not used to copying and pasting coding in certain areas. If you're used to building out like on a Squarespace platform or something, then this will be no problem for you. But if you just want to create a real simple form, then you could go with a landing page version. And it walks you through, it's called full page. It walks you through the steps of how to create that. So I'm not going to spend any more time there because I want to hop over to workflows. So this, again, is something you want to spend time creating. And I'll show you. So remember, workflows work the same way as drips. So the goal of this is to take work off of your plate in taking care of your customers so that, and you can create all the triggers you want within a workflow. Like they receive an automatic welcome, and then you might want to have something set up, like let's say within your brand, when somebody joins your brand list to receive a PDF or an ebook, you could have an immediate welcome sent out to them, but then maybe you have it so that every 5 days for 2 weeks, they receive an email from you that you've already written. And anybody who joins your brand gets put into that kind of cycle, let's say. So here you can see all of the workflows that I have. I have 19 total. I'll open up a couple of them for you. So, for example, the Supernatural Recipe Guide, that's one of my newest offerings in the Whole Fit Shop. So I want to show you here, I'm going to pause this because I just want to show you how the email looks. And so this is like the back end of a workflow. It's asking, when I created this, it said, what do you want your trigger to be? And what I said was, I want this to send out as soon as a subscriber is added to the segment Supernatural Purchased. And again, the way that they get into that segment is triggered automatically by purchasing the Supernatural Guide from my shop. Now, the way that I do this is through a tool called Zapier. And because I know this doesn't pertain to all of you, I'm not going to go into a tutorial on how to use Zapier, but Zapier is basically a go-between. So what Zapier allows me to do is set up a sequence so that when a customer purchases from my Squarespace shop, it automatically adds them to the segment, the Supernatural Purchased segment, which then triggers this workflow. I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually not once you get going with it. But then here you can see the email they receive. So this is the email. So excuse me. Right when a customer purchases this guide, they receive this welcome email, which links them to their ebook and other offerings that I have they may be interested in. So it's just a one-time email. But let's say I made some updates to the ebook and I wanted to email out a fresh copy to anyone who's ever purchased. The nice thing with this is because they're already in a segment where I know they've purchased it, then I can just send an email out to that segment. So you can see how that would be really helpful. So let me just republish this. So, okay, so let me show you a few more. Here is the classroom workflow. So this is that one if somebody goes to the classroom to download their class notes package. I have this one set up in a very similar way to what I just showed you for the Supernatural guide, where they get added to the segment, and this is the email they would receive. So you can see how this actually looks pretty similar to the one I just showed you, because I had a template that I used, and I just changed the image, linked up the proper links. Anything you see here in pink is a link. So anyway, that's that. Let me resume this one, and I'm going to show you how you would create a workflow. And then if you're in doTERRA and you want to stick around for the last 5 minutes, I'll show you the 3-month email series I have for our customers. So I want to show you how you create a workflow. So you're going to need to have had segments created already, because it's going to ask you right away, what's the trigger for this workflow? So create new workflow. You could again choose from, let's do that. Let's take one of their templates here. So, or you could just start from scratch and create fresh emails. Oh, interesting. When I clicked on their template, it already has timed out triggers. Okay, that could be helpful if you are just starting out, and let's say you've created a workflow for your brand and you want to use a template that Flodesk has created, which times the emails out to be 1 a month and taking your customer on a journey. I mean, I would actually suggest narrowing that time frame to be maybe a week in between emails, but let's go back, because I actually don't want to use a template. I just want to show you creating from scratch. So start from scratch. We're going to call this workflow brand welcome. So let's say you've built this for your brand. So it's going to ask you, what's the trigger? So you'd click add trigger. Then over here, it's going to ask you what segment is going to trigger this to begin. So I'll just click my brand list. I'll delete this after I show you guys. But so now it's saying, okay, cool. When someone's added to your brand list, now what do you want to have happen? So you click the plus symbol, and you could either click a time delay. So if you don't want a welcome email to send out right away, you could click time delay of, I don't know, a day or something like that. But usually the very first part of your workflow will be an immediate email, because they've just done something and they're wanting to receive something. So then it'll ask you, do you want to duplicate an existing email or create a new email? So here's where I suggest you click create new email, and then go to your favorites. And whatever templates you've saved to your favorites, you can now use that to create the first email they receive in their workflow. So here's that template. I'm just going to leave it, just because I'm not going to edit it right now. I want to keep going here. So after now it's brought me back to the bones of the workflow. See here? So now I'm going to click the add symbol, and now I'm going to do a time delay, because now it makes sense to you, right? So now you could choose to wait a day. You might wait a week. You can do hours, minutes, days. You can even pick certain times of day or a specific day of the year, but usually you're going to stick to a frequency of days. So let's say you're going to do an email spaced out a week apart. So now you'd click the plus symbol. You click email, create new. You might go to your templates again and create maybe a different template you've saved. Okay, go back. So you can see how this works, right? And then maybe you would do one more. Time delay, 7 days, and add another email. Once you're ready to publish, you just click publish here. Hold on. I added a trigger here. So you'd hit publish and then publish now. Now I'm not going to do that because this is a fake product. I don't want anyone subscribing to my brand list and getting this mock workflow we've just created together. But those are workflows. Now, if you were in the middle of doing a workflow and didn't publish it, it would show here as a draft, which is right here what I just showed you. So, you'll want to pay attention to make sure that you have them. And when you want to resume it, you could just click the 3 dots and hit resume, and it would stay going. Whenever you're editing a workflow, it's saving your edits as you go. So that's nice. So you don't have to worry about saving anything. It's automatic that way. But I think what I'll show you just to finish this out, for those of you that are in doTERRA, I want to show you one of the popular ways I use this workflow is I created a 3-month essential oil journey for our customer base for when they first start with oils. So I want to just take you into the back end. Okay, we're going to edit this here. So the way that one of our customers receives this is they're either given the link to the standalone page form that I filled in, which let me just open up another browser and show you really quickly what that looks like. So if I go over to forms and then where it is, Oil Co. Here we go. So this form here, I created basically a link to it. So my team knows they can either send this to customers or they could add customers automatically if their customer's like, yeah, I'd love to get it. You know, I actually add my customers automatically to it. And the way that you do that once you've built your segment out. So if I look for, let's see, I'm looking for oil drip. How come I can't see it? Back in here. Oil drip for those subscribed. Here we go. Sorry. Whole Fit Team customers, 3-month drip. So I could actually click here and I could just add a customer just like this, type their email, first name, that would add them right into the workflow, okay? Or they could fill in the form. So this is the back end of the emails. So what we do is we send them an immediate welcome email, and then a day later they get another email with all of our team resources and tools. And then every 7 days they receive an email that walks them through using their oils until they reach the end of 3 months. So I'll just open up these emails really quick to show you what they look like. And I did a tutorial like this for my team a few weeks ago when we launched this new series to show them what I'm showing you today, because there's actually no easy way for me to share the workflow. But what I told my team was, you know, they could look at the workflow, subscribe to it, and then they could make their own if they wanted to. Of course, they don't have to do that, but some people do want to do that to have their own brand worked into it. But this is the week 1. We take them through an intro to essential oils. We link up some info on safety. And then we have at the bottom here, we have resources, and these are pretty static. These show at the bottom of every email. So then if I go back, you can see there's 7 days there in between, and then we go to week 2, where I talk about doTERRA as a company, what sets them apart. So here we go into co-impact sourcing, we go into the third-party purity testing, source2.com, how they can scan their bottles. So a lot of the videos and information we just pull from doTERRA's YouTube channel and then add text to it here. Week 3, we teach them how to put their oils to work. So we talk about the chemistry of oils. It's a pretty awesome series. We link up the live guide, some videos that I've recorded that are again saved in the classroom. But you can see here how it's a really nice looking system. It's an appealing way to do email marketing because it's just clean, right? Really, and it's very easy to use once you get going. So even though this might look really involved to you, all of this was really created through just clicking layouts, right? And adding images where I wanted them. Here's how a video shows. So this is linked right to YouTube. In week 4, we talk about the loyalty rewards program with them because we give them a couple of weeks to have been playing with their oils, and now they might be looking at investing more in monthly ordering. So we go through what that program entails, our favorite parts about it, how to set up their LRP. I've got some videos there. Week 5, we talk about healthy habit integration. So I actually just recorded a class last week on setting up health stations in your home. So I came into this workflow and edited it to add in the new class. So you'll see it, I think it's here. Oh, maybe it's not in this one. Sorry, it's in a later email. But here we talk about the Healthy Habits program we run for the community, and just some key habits for getting started. We link up a few things at the bottom here. This, I have to be honest with you, this took quite a bit of time to create. It really did, as you can see. But now that it's done, it's going to save our entire team a ton of time, So it's worth it, especially if you're the leader of a team, then it's worth it for you to do this work, to build this out so that your team is not having to spend so much time educating customers that it's all really done for them. So you could even just leverage, if you're just starting out, you could think about things that doTERRA already has. Week 7, setting up health stations in your home. This is where I added that newest video. Health room by room. So I linked that in here. Just information on using oils in various rooms of your home. If you're building in doTERRA too, a lot of the images that I used in this workflow that you're seeing, I grabbed from OneDrop. It's a crowdsourcing photo imaging service. Week 8, we go into green cleaning. Let me just skip through. I'm not going to open up these emails. Week 9, we talk about reducing toxic load. So we talk about the Cleanse and Restore Kit there and a cleanse program we offer our community once a year. Then the last 3 emails, so 10, 11, and 12, we talk about the doTERRA business. So it's a nice rounded out series. I'll just show you these last few emails before we wrap up. So we talk about the opportunity they have, since 90% or so of the people that enroll in doTERRA enroll as customers, right? But 10% or so want to look at doing this as a business. So we want to give them that information in this series so they can choose. So we link up the build guide, and a few other business resources we have on our team. Week 11, we talk about the positioning of the doTERRA business model, why it's so strong, why the retention's so high, why it's just a great opportunity, especially within the network marketing space, how to earn money in network marketing, the different ways you build wealth in our world, right? Static or earned income versus passive or residual income, and why that's so important, especially in a time like we're in right now. There's a business overview video I did. So as you can see, the reason I wanted to open up these videos is I wanted to show you different examples of formats and how it all comes together when you add in a video and a layout like this. And it's really easy once you get moving. And then the very last email they receive, week 12, is their invitation to upgrade from customer to wellness advocate, which is free. We do emphasize they'll want to be ready to start their business before they upgrade. Although it's free, we want them to be ready to rock once they do that. So we talk about that here. We talk about the various programs we have on our team, the launch guide we link up, and so on. So anyway, I thought that would be helpful. So those are the 12 emails. So you can see how basically what we do through this is anytime a customer enrolls. Now, again, as I'm showing you this, we have a pretty large team. On our doTERRA team, we have about 80,000 people. This new email series that I started, it only has 800 people in it. That's because not all of the builders are using it, right? Now, I use it. So when I enroll a customer, I add them to this workflow because the very first email they receive is a welcome email. So you can see how this really does replace a lot of that time that you're spending right now. I love using workflows. I've built them out for everything within my brand. Now, often, if a customer enrolls with me, for example, I will send them a personal email note, handwritten, or typed out email, not automated, to welcome them and to let them know I'm going to add them to our email education series, and then I'll be popping a little package in the mail. Nothing replaces personal communication. It's just having these systems in place can really help to free up your time as you're growing your business. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me just look at my notes to see if there's anything I meant to show you that I didn't. No, I think we got to it all. Okay, so I will pop the link for you to have your trial. It's a 30-day trial. I mean, you got nothing to lose by trying it. If you do like Flodesk, you can lock in the platform at $19 a month going forward. It's a very smart investment as a business owner, and this is definitely the cheapest email marketing platform because it does not matter how many emails you send or how many subscribers you have. Whereas, for example, MailChimp, which I was using for years and years and years, I was paying over $300 a month because my subscribers, every time my subscribers grew, they would charge me more. So long-term, not a fan. A lot of people like MailChimp and other platforms because they're cheaper in the beginning, but you're handcuffed as you grow, not with Flodesk. So anyway, hope this helped. Play around with it. I think you'll love it, and take some time building out some email templates and play around with workflows, and you'll get up and going in no time.